There are unprecedented levels of people resigning or preparing to resign at the moment, so much so that it's been given the name the Great Resignation of 2021. So why are so many people looking to resign in 2021? Unless you've been living under a rock, a lot has gone on in the recent times and the workplace has dramatically evolved. We're also being inundated with stories that companies can't fill jobs, which says to people it's a good job market to try to get a new job. More so, we've been through a lot collectively across the globe, and in many places we are still going through it. It seems that a large combination of factors have all hit at once. So many people's jobs have changed. Entire industries will never be the same, and that's no exaggeration. Many jobs are just different now, or similar jobs are paying more, which would entice anyone to move jobs. There's also limitations on travel between countries, and there are many industries that either rely on tourists or short-term visitors to work in those roles. Personally, I went on holiday earlier in the year and the manager at the hotel offered me a job as I was checking out because she was so desperate to find staff. Because those jobs are usually done by younger travelers who are usually in between studying and exploring the world. But they aren't currently allowed into Australia, so they can't fill those roles. So many people have experienced working from home and want that freedom. Personally, I couldn't go back to working in an office 5 days a week. I covered previously in a video how you would need to earn 40% more just to cover the cost of a 1-hour commute, which I will link to in the end and in the description. The ease of getting out of bed, making a coffee and starting work is so undervalued. A lot of people that I work with aren't even based in the same city, so I have to speak to them on Zoom anyway. So I don't value having to get dressed, eat breakfast and stuff, and then commute to work. I can sleep in and still be on time. As a result of this, less people want to live in big cities. You pay so much for small spaces in major cities that you can often afford a mansion or a palace in an outer small town. If you can do your job from home, home can be anywhere. People want freedom and to live in bigger places. Being stuck inside also highlights to everyone that we want to have more space to do stuff at home and make our homes better places to be since we are spending more time there. Hence, again, we are more willing to live further out and get a bigger place for the same price. People and businesses have realized that you can work from a remote place and in many roles get the same job done. Which is actually causing friction because businesses in some cases are talking about passing those discounts onto the staff, where if they don't have to hire someone in the big city, they want to pay small city rates. So businesses are offering smaller salaries to those working remotely, which is obviously also going to lead to resignations, especially if you can get a similar job remote that pays big city rates. You don't need to travel to have a meeting with someone elsewhere, which at times can be a chore, but plenty of people enjoy the travel life and saw this as a benefit. Personally, I would travel overseas every 4 or so months, and it's been 18 months now, which is the longest I've gone since I left high school. I don't mind it so much as I'm a bit over traveling for work, but I do know some people who that was a part of their job they enjoyed, and so they would want to find another role that still does it. Corporate clients used to expect you to visit them face to face, but now they are much more open to doing it via Zoom. The time that took meant that you needed to have more people to represent the company. So the company might not need the same amount of people, and if there's a threat of being fired, some people will choose to end it themselves instead of living in fear. A lot of staff also remember how they were treated. If they were treated poorly during recent times, either by less hours or less pay, they're going to be more likely to look for new opportunities now. People have had a lot more time to think and ponder about life. Many people would have reassessed what they want to do with their life, which is naturally going to lead to people resigning. And with the uncertainty over the last year, a lot of people would have held off resigning when they normally would, meaning that those resignations built up and will all combine together. With inflation on the rise, housing prices on the rise, and so much uncertainty out there in general, people are going to be looking for something more definitive. If people can't afford to live where they are anymore, then they will have to move and it will make current roles untenable with the move, and so they will just resign as a result. All of this on top of governments in every country talking about introducing different policies requiring different passports or working policies for different industries. As there is more talk of these, and whenever they get brought in, whatever they are going to be, there are bound to be people who disagree and resign as a result. However, it's important to remember that one man's trash is another man's treasure, as the saying goes. In many cases, one person resigning will be filled by another person who resigns somewhere else. And one person's dream career might be someone else's career that they're sick of. And thus it all combined together to create the Great Resignation of 2021, which may even persist into 2022. If you're thinking of resigning, I'd love to hear why in the comments. I previously covered how I think you should approach it and what to consider first, which I'll link to here. And as I mentioned before, I covered how much extra 1-hour commute costs and how it's a lot more than you think on this other video. If you enjoyed this, chuck me a like and subscribe to see more like it. And as always, good luck.